All right, here we go. This one's going to be a 223 versus 10 millimeter test. Today we're going to be testing out some Gold Dot. So for our 223, that one is the 55 grain Speer Gold Dot. There's what that thing looks like. It is a soft point. It does have your nickel plated brass and is rated at 3,220 feet per second. So we're absolutely not going to be reaching that today because we are going to be testing out of a short barrel, but we'll see how close. And for our 10 millimeter, we are going to be using our 165 grain Gold Dot loaded by Underwood. Or I should say was loaded by Underwood. They aren't loading this stuff anymore, but I had a few loose rounds and figured it'd be a fun comparison. So that one does have your nickel plated brass as well and is rated at 1,400 feet per second. So for our 223, we are going to be using our Zastava Zpap85. That one does have a 10-inch barrel. And for our 10 millimeter, we're going to be using our Rock Island Ultra FS. That one does have that full-size 5-inch barrel. So we'll be going through our gel. It is a 10% calibrated block. Do have our catch block behind that, so a total of 22 inches of gel. Our 4 layers of cotton t-shirt on the front, and like always, we'll set up our chronograph so we can hopefully pick up those impact velocities. So let's set up and see how these rounds do head to head. First one up will be that 223. All right, we're setting it to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. So our impact velocity on that one was 2274. So, you know, definitely quite a bit less, pretty much 100 feet per second less than rated. Kind of expected. That was only a 10-inch barrel, so not too bad. All right, and there is that entry. Looks like we got a perfect hit, and you can kind of see down in there. Definitely not like the pistol rounds where they kind of, you know, tear a big hole, but pretty nice star pattern so far. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, check that out. Definitely got quite a bit of damage going through. Nice spiral cuts. Taking it almost all the way through that first block, and we did actually make it into that second block, so that is always good. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here from the top. Like always, we'll cut these open here at the end so we can get our little bit more accurate cross sections. But for now, we are right at 3 1/8 inches. So that's actually not too bad. Coming in right around your, you know, average, you know, pistol areas. I guess not so much average. I guess the high end, maybe SIG 10 millimeter stuff. Definitely not bad at all. So here it is from the side. Looks like same thing. Came in, opened up really nicely, dumping a ton of energy. Does look like it is carrying it pretty much the whole way through that block. Maybe that last inch or so it did start to flatline, and we did make it into that second block. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here from the side. Basically looks like from the very bottom of the table to right there, pretty much exactly the same, about 3 1/8 inches. You know, which is pretty impressive. And where it started to settle down, that whole track, we were right at 10 inches. So like I said, that last inch or so, it did start to flatline pretty quickly. And then hopefully you guys can see that round is facing downward. And at our leading edge, you're right at 1 3/4 inches. So that is 12 3/4 inches of total penetration for that. So definitely not too bad. So let's set up for that 10 millimeter and see how that one does. All right, we're setting back to 15 feet. All right, let's see what we did on that one. So our impact velocity for that one was 1409, and rated was right at 14, so always good to see it exceed that a little bit. Wish they were still loading that stuff. All right, so there is that entry. Looks like you got another good hit. This one's a little bit different. You can actually see right down in that cavity and a huge star pattern so far. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, check that out. That is a ton of damage. Super distinct spiral cuts cutting through. It is settling down just a little bit, and we did actually make it into that second block. It looks like we're just above that last round. So let's see our measurement here from the side. I believe that last one was 3 1/8. This one is, man, that's a tough one. That is super close. So this one is 3 1/4. So an 1/8 inch larger than that 5.56. So that is awesome to see. You could tell, you know, there's definitely a difference there. That is one huge slug for sure. So let's check it out here from the side. So it looks like same thing from the side. Came in, opened up really nicely. Huge spiral cuts going through. And then it really didn't settle down until it got into that second block. Well, hopefully you guys can see that. It looks like we might have just clipped it. I don't think we did actually. It looks like it just came in and it started going up. But we did make it into that second block. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here from the side. So we are right at 3, pretty much exactly the same, 3 1/4 inches. So that is always good to see. But man, that is super impressive for that 10 mil. And hopefully you guys can see that round. That one is also facing downward, open up really wide. And at our leading edge, we're 3 3/4 inches. So I made it a total of 14 3/4 inches. So a little bit more than that 5.56, or I'm sorry, 2.23. It's still pretty impressive. So let's check these tracks one more time. So the one on the right is that 2.23, one on the left is that 10 millimeter. So there is that 2.23. You can see it came in, open up really nice. Awesome star pattern going through, nice spiral cuts. And then we did make it into that second block, and hopefully you guys can see it. It is that first round right behind that one. And here is our 10 millimeter. Same thing, came in, open up really wide as well. Huge star pattern going all the way through that first one, and we did make it into that second one. So let's pull these rounds and see what they look like. All right, check these things out. Looks like they both got some awesome expansion. So I'm sure you can tell which one is which. One on the right is that 2.23, one on the left is that 10 millimeter. So here is that 2.23. Thing opened up perfectly. Really nice uniform expansion. I've tested this quite a bit in the past. It's been a long time, but always does really good at short barrel. That is the only 2.23 or 5.56 we have at the moment, but we will be testing it, you know, I'm sure, you know, eventually out of a full size 16 plus. So not too bad. Really uniform. That thing did get hit by that 10 mil, but not enough to do anything. It just hit it right there on the base. No deformation there, but really awesome expansion. And here is that 10 millimeter, kind of a different story with this one. Huge expansion. You can see right where it did end up impacting the bottom end of that round. It didn't really do too much. That pedal was already flared out before it actually hit. But man, that thing did get some awesome expansion there too. Usually when I test this one, this does pretty much that. It usually kind of leaves like a kind of rabbit ear looking thing where the two pedals stick up and all the rest are folded back. But very consistent with this round as well. Pretty awesome, and you can see that signature gold dot down in there. And like always, we'll rinse these out here at the end. But awesome expansion. So we'll check these out one time from the bottom. So the one on the right is that 2.23, one on the left is that 10 millimeter. And last time from the top. So like I said, guys, we'll get all this stuff cleaned up, get our still shots, slow-mo, all that good stuff here at the end. But there we go. That one was 2.23 gold dot versus 10 millimeter gold dot. Thanks for watching, guys. All right, so there's that cross section for that 2.23 shot. You can see some nice big splitting going on. Crazy looking spider web pattern. Same on this side. I did actually remeasure both of those. They're peaking right at 2 3/4 inches and averaging right at about 2.5 inches. I don't remember what we were getting out in the field, but I believe that is definitely a little bit more. But definitely pretty nasty splits. Like I always say in some of those pistol rounds, especially the high velocity ones, you can see it just really tore that stuff up. A lot more spider webbing than normal. And that thing was moving, I believe, over 2,200 feet per second. So that is that sweet spot. So let's cut this open. All right, so here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right side, this top is the left. So you can see probably that 1/4 inch mark started to open up. So you got a nice wide path going through and quite a bit of damage. Really, really big splitting. Doesn't look like it's dropping any fragments or any of that fabric, but you know, not really expected to because it was a soft point. Doesn't really have anything to grab that cloth, but definitely some pretty impressive track. Same on this top, came in, opened up. You can see that huge path going through, and definitely very impressive though. It was you know, less energy foot-pounds in that 10 millimeter, but you know, that thing was moving out pretty good still, especially for being that 10-inch barrel. But there we go, guys. That one was that 223 55 grain Speer Gold Dot. All right, and here's that cross section for that 10 millimeter. This one kind of looks a little bit different. Definitely not as much of a kind of spiderweb pattern, but still really, really huge splits. This is normally what we're getting for, you know, 10 mil 357 SIG. Very, very, you know, deep, wide splitting. I did remeasure both of these. They are peaking right around the 3.5 inch mark and averaging right at about the 3.25 inch mark, but definitely quite a bit of damage. You can see a huge spiral pattern going through. Pretty awesome. So let's cut it open. All right, and here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right side, this top is the left. So you can see as soon as that thing came in, right, that 1/4 inch mark started to open up really nicely. Huge path going all the way through. And check out those cuts. Those things are massive. Super, super deep. Really clean cuts too. Not as jagged as some of the other stuff that we test. Usually pretty typical of that Gold Dot. And same on the top, came in. You can really see it here. Open up. Once again, huge path going all the way through and just some massive, massive splits and cuts. This stuff is actually barely hanging on. You can see, but it doesn't look like there's any fabric in here either, which is pretty surprising because that did have a huge hollow point cavity. Definitely some nasty stuff. We'll get one more quick angle. But yeah, check that out. Very, very deep, wide splits. But there we go, guys. That one was that 165 grain Gold Dot, and that one was loaded by Underwood.